Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the ANZCAR Cup, brought to you by Abruzzi, and of course, Simshed Broadcasting. We're here tonight at Martinsville, the short track oval that is very, very tricky. A track that used to be all asphalt, and then the cars started ripping it up because they were pulling so much traction and causing so much damage under braking, they had to put concrete on the corners. A very interesting track indeed. And I'm Carl Withy, so I'll be doing the usual commentary stuff tonight. And with me, as ever, is Jonathan Hancock. How are you going, Johnny?
Good, Carl. How are you this week?
Not bad, not bad. So we've got a few cars out on the track at the moment. Jason Martin noticeably is just coming out for his lap. He's actually just abandoned his lap, actually, so I think he's going to restart that one. Currently, we've got Jason Hartigan, last week's winner, sitting there on pole position as it stands. Martinsville, it's one of those tracks that can be quite tricky.
Can be very tricky, Carl. It's very, as you see, like you said, there's concrete on the inside and on the trays on the lines that can be very slippery at times. And you got to brake, so you're locking up, getting back on the accelerator. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, it can absolutely throw you off on this track. It is a track that will throw people off, and we have seen a bit of a caution fest here before because of that, unfortunately. It can be an often problem here, as Jason Martin manages to get second place on that first lap. Good job from Jason Martin. Expect him to be strong here tonight. He tends to do well on these sort of short tracks, and he's pulling over from this one, so he's managed to get up to second. Michael Skurlock's actually sitting up there at first. Great lap from him. It can absolutely throw you out on this track, and it's not everybody's favourite. We saw a lot of people last year using this as their drop round because they simply did not want to drive in it. But we've got a pretty good showing out there for now.
Yeah, it's definitely not the track that most people like. It's one of the least favourite tracks on the circuit, I guess. So I understand a lot of drivers wanting to use it as their chosen drop round.
Yeah, it's understandable, really, isn't it? It's very much one of those tracks that can be. It's a love it or hate it track, and there are some drivers that love it, but not that many. But there are a few out there. As we see Danny G going out to the track, and I just want to mention Danny G actually because he's jumped to the top of the leaderboard in the ANZCAR Cup. So I'm just going to go through the actual championship standings as we see them out on track. So at the moment we've got Danny G in first place with Michael Skurlock behind him, Edward Foster in third, Josh Micklemore fourth, Jason Martin fifth, Jason Hartigan sixth, Hamish Gallagher seventh, Matt Danson eighth, ninth is Matthew Clerk, and 10th is James Roby, with Norman Clark just sitting there in 11th. So a pretty good standing out there. People that have really dropped down are Dave Douglas and Josh Micklemore. Joshua Carroll Walden. Those guys have really dropped down quite a bit. And Matthew Clerk there just going off. Big moment for him there. Of course, Clerk was in the chase last year, of course, and he's just lost it going across across the concrete. As we said, it's a bit of a dangerous place to go on.
Yeah, definitely. Joshua Carroll Walden isn't here tonight, so he must be using this as his drop round.
Yeah, he's dropped off a little bit from the opening highs, we should say. Obviously, winning at Talladega was fantastic. Sorry, not Talladega. Daytona. Winning at Daytona is it's a great start to the season, and you can't really go forwards from there. But he hasn't really had another win since then, so that's cost him a bit at the championship. But those guys that have been consistent, like Danny G, Foster, Skurlock, they've constantly been consistent and just up in that sort of top 10 area. And Danny G's up there without a win at the moment. Danny G and Edward Foster, neither of those two guys have wins. Michael Skurlock, of course, is up there in second with 2 wins. But it is a thing of consistency. It is that big thing of the consistency does make it happen. And we're seeing that again of those drivers that just tend to creep up there a little bit, that sort of have that a bit of experience and tend to have that that little bit of extra finishing power sort of in the top 10, and we do see that through the season sometimes. So we're going to jump to the highlights package now, as the qualifying's pretty much wrapped up. So we will see you on the flip side of that here at Martinsville for tonight's race. getting that draft. He's really pushing it right on the back of Hartigan. He goes up high, loses some speed. He's lost a little bit of speed there. Will he get a better exit speed? He's looking to try it. He's trying for it.
Will we see a
quite
bump
get
and
it.
run? Oh, that's my question. Will we see a bump and run coming here? Because we saw him very closely. Will we see a bump and run?
The Hybrid Racing Solutions, 1 lap to go. The white flag lap is out, and will we see Hartigan do it? He's holding well. He's keeping Jason Martin behind him. They're coming up to the finish line, and Hartigan takes it. And welcome back, everybody, here at Martinsville. And as you can see, it is nighttime as well, because nighttime has come into Martinsville for iRacing. So we have got a night race here, which is going to make a big difference as well, because of course it's going to be cooler. The track is going to be cooler, air temperature is going to be cooler, and that is going to change things up from the usual race we have at Martinsville, like we had last year. So track temperature, we're looking at 21 degrees, and the ambient temperature is only 19 degrees Celsius tonight. So that's going to help the tyres just keep a little bit more alive through the race, isn't it, Jono?
Yeah, they'll keep those tyre temperatures down and keep the tyre life there for a bit longer.
Yeah, it just adds that little bit of extra life to them, just gives them a bit better run. But the important thing at this track is not to overdrive the car. You've just got to settle into a pace and not push too hard, because on those concrete corners you will shred your tyres so quickly.
Yeah, it's pretty much like any good song, you got to have rhythm.
It's such an important thing to have, and just getting that rhythm right, getting yourself into that perfect rhythm and getting the feeling right is important. The other thing here at Martinsville is the pit entry and exit, of course. Because it is on the same section of track, it can catch drivers out sometimes.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one, and as you may have seen in your video there, the pit boxes actually go around the corners, which can cause a blind spot for drivers and cause pit lane wrecks, unfortunately.
Yeah, it can really throw you out when you're actually on a corner position for a pit stop. You just got to turn slightly, and you can get put out a little bit by that because you're not on a flat, straight piece of road. Even when you actually dump it off acceleration, sometimes it will throw you off, because sometimes you will just get too much wheel spin because you're sort of turning the car a little bit, because it is quite a sharp turn, especially when you're in pit road, because of course in pit road it's a bit more cornered than it is on the racetrack.
Yeah, and you're going slower, which means it will need more input. And as you said, most of us, I'm pretty sure all of us, hold certain RPMs before we get dropped, so there is always, depending on how much RPM you hold, a little bit of wheel spin there before it grips.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the thing that can catch you out a lot as well is on that pit, sort of on the exit, of course. As you come out, you're going out onto the sort of straight, but you're pretty much going onto concrete as you leave pit road. And again, that's a very different surface, as we just finished a practice session and we start to grid up for the race. So on pole position we have Michael Skurlock. Fantastic job for him getting up there on pole. Next to him is Jason Martin. On row 2 we have Jason Hartigan with Josh Micklemore. Row 3 is Danny G with Stephen Williams. Row 4, Stephen Williams with Hamish Gallagher. Row 5 is Matthew Clutt with Jamie Dyke. Row 6 is Lachlan and Matt Hunter. Row 7 is Ed Foster and Norman Clark. Row 8 is Riley Curtis and Mirko Dortnak. Row 9 is Phil Otto with Mick Wilson. Row 10 is Shay Thompson with Lindsay Hobbs. Row 11 is Raymond Yeager and Tristan Koch, and rounding out the group in 22nd place is James Roby. So yeah, it's going to be a bit interesting one tonight. Jason Martin tends to go around here quite well, but Skurlock has been having a sensational season so far this year, and really been doing well. And it looks like he's got a new paint scheme
Yeah, I was
for
just
the
about
car.
to say he looks like he's got some new sponsors, and not sure if it's a new team or just new sponsors out there tonight.
Yeah, so we're just going to get round for our little practice lap, and well, sorry, warm up lap, just getting round behind the pace car, of course. Everybody's going to get gridded up, but of course, we're going to fall silent as they go across the line so we can hear those beautiful engines roar and get a good sound of it. Of course, being a short track, there are 2 laps around with the pace car here because it is that short track. Who's your pick tonight, Jono?
I'm gonna. Oh, this is a hard one. Let's go with Micklemore. He's been there or thereabouts the last few races, so I think it's about time.
Nicole, I'm going to go with Hartigan. I think he's coming off a win from last week. I think he's going to carry on that success this time out. We'll have to see how it goes. Pace car comes in, so we're going to shut up. Let's enjoy these cars as they go around for the first lap. Has screwed up his start. He's actually got caught up. Sorry, we're going to have to jump in there. He put his foot down a little bit too quickly and got the car actually moving and lost the rear on it and spun in front of the whole field and managed not to actually get caught up in it too badly. Sorry to jump over that one. So Michael Skurlock and the Pace Syndicate car does lead away.
Yeah, he like we said, has been strong, and it's great to see him back in a team, and hopefully he's enjoying his stay there with I believe James Roby and those guys, Pace Syndicate.
Yeah, there are a few cars out,
As they
and
do
we've
have
got a caution. James Dyke it was. James Dyke had a big crash there, nose into the wall there. Was just actually looking through, sorry, tail into the wall there, not nose, wrong way around. I was just actually looking through, and Hamish Gallagher has got a huge amount of damage on his car from that first lap incident. I think he actually ended up going into Martin on that start, and then Jamie Dyke actually went into the back of Gallagher as well. So they both got damage from that start from Martin, as well as Danny G. Danny G as well, I think, also got caught up in that incident. So Martin managed to catch his teammate out in that as well. So a lot of damage there for some of those cars just because they've all backed up. Phil Otto was also, sorry, not Phil Otto. Trying to have a look there. One of the other black cars. May have been Jason Hartigan, actually, I think. Yeah, Jason Hartigan actually was the car that got caught up there quite badly.
Yeah, he went way
Some,
back through the field, unfortunately, getting caught
yeah,
up. He was right behind Jason.
yeah, he got some serious damage to the right front of the car. So yeah, Jason obviously just dumping the throttle on that concrete, and that caused those wheels to go round, and for him to spin around and get in that crash.
And talking about damage, and some of our super keen-eyed people had already seen it, we have now been gifted the new damage model for these cars, thanks to the NASCAR official racing coming across, and with the coronavirus, iRacing have been putting a bit more time into these cars and a bit more effort, and we have now got a new damage model. I'm not sure if you knew that, Carl, but there you go.
No, just talk us through that one, if you will.
So it's supposed to be more realistic, as always. They try and make it more realistic here in iRacing, and let's just take a look at one of these cars that was caught up in the incident.
Go Hamish Gallagher.
Hamish Gallagher. Just finding him on the list. Yeah, so as you can probably see on his car, he's got more of a pushed-in nose compared to in the last few builds. The nose would have just disappeared on the car. Now it's more actual. You'll see more damage on the car, physical damage, than it just like the rear bumper disappearing or the front and clip disappearing.
So yeah, you'll actually get more deformation on the actual bodywork, and you won't have just bits of the car falling off, stuff like that. Taylor Swift obviously getting a nose job from that incident, so quick nose job for her on that one. But it's good to see that they are actually improving the damage model, because that is one of the things with iRacing that was a bit lacking. But the pace car's coming in on this lap, so we're going to get ready for the restart. So it's Michael Skurlock versus Josh Micklemore now, and obviously Josh Micklemore's going to hope he doesn't do like his teammate Jason Martin and get too much wheel spin off that start.
You had to open your mouth before they didn't you, Carl? JP's going to be cursing you out soon.
Is often the way, but looks like they all get away quite well. A little bit of bunching up at the back as we've got a car going round. We've got Jamie Dyke into Mick Wilson. Jamie Dyke into Mick Wilson there. So just having a look at that one. It looks like Wilson just came down without sort of a bit of an unseen move from Mick Wilson there.
Yeah, Mick having a bit of trouble. He's just parked it up in the pits now, so had another spin on himself there after that incident.
Yeah, so it looks like he's come around and actually went to drop the power, but didn't have anything happen. He's lost the back, and then somebody's gone into the back of him. The number 7 of Lindsay Hobbs has gone into the back of him and lost the whole front end of the car. And that spun him around into Jamie Dyke. So big incident there at the back, but it has remained green.
Yeah, lucky not to bring out a caution there as cars were on the actual racetrack.
Yeah, we are expecting a bit of a caution fest tonight, as is often the case here. It can really be the case, unfortunately. But we are having a relatively good little restart here, so we've got some good laps under us.
Yeah, just looking at Skurlock now, he seems to have great drive off of the corner, and he's starting to put a little bit of a gap there between him and Josh.
Yeah, Skurlock's got some good pace at the moment. He's got some seriously good pace, and he's been having a very strong year. And now he's in Pace Syndicate Racing, as we said, with a few other drivers. So James Roby's in that. And trying to think who else is in Pace Syndicate. I know there's a couple of other drivers, but trying to think off the top of my head is always a hard thing to do.
I know Pace Syndicate, this is their first year out too here in the Oval Series. They're mainly, I believe, a road team, but they're having a go at having a drive in the Oval Series, so they'll be using all of Skurlock's knowledge here to help themselves better their team.
Well, getting a driver to actually help you in oval racing, Skurlock is a good one to grab, and he's not too bad on a street circuit as well. He's got some caution, and we've got a caution out, as I believe Mirko Dortnak has gone round. So we'll just have a little bit of a look back at that one and see what's happened. Just looks like
Roger.
He's caught the inside curb and then lost it. The rear's gone around on him. He just caught that inside curb and then spun it, unfortunately for Mirko.
Yeah, we'll probably see a lot of little single car incidents tonight, as we see some of the guys out the front trying to fake out other drivers there for a pit stop.
Yeah, and Jason Hartigan's actually coming in for that pit stop. So Hartigan is in for the stop. So not a bad move, in all honesty. Probably not a bad idea. He'll be able to get a bit of that damage taken away. The panel beaters will be out in force for that one. But around here, your tyres do drop off quite a bit. So those fresher tyres are going to help him on the restart.
Yeah, they definitely get chewed up here very, very quickly. But hopefully the cooler temperature here, now that they've added night racing at Martinsville this week in iRacing, will help the tyre life a bit.
it should add a little bit of extra life to it as we see Jason Martin coming around for the lucky dog there. So Jason Martin's managed to get back onto the lead lap. But behind Skurlock, we've got a bit of a Mitch Motorsport sandwich with Josh Mickelmore and Danny G there. Then currently in fourth place, we've got Matthew Cluett with Edward Foster. Stephen Williams just behind him in DPR. That's a change of team for Stephen Williams, isn't it? Going to DPR now. Because he was in Middle Finger Racing before, so a bit of a change of team there as well. So along with Phil Otto, Stephen Williams. So odd to see that car not in the MFR paint job.
Yeah, it's quite different, but drivers are always looking to to improve themselves, and if they get somewhere like a better position or a better drive where they feel that they can improve themselves at a team or a team can improve them, they'll definitely take that drive if it is available to them. And talking to drivers out there tonight, so far Mr. Edward Foster is doing well. He's up a bunch of positions from where he started. He started 12th and is up to 5th already.
Yeah, he's doing a good job climbing up the order.
Mr. Raymond Jaeger is starting 20th and is up into 11th.
And Shea Thompson as well, from 14th to 7th. We saw last time out Shea Thompson and Jaeger getting together when they were in 2nd and 3rd position. So they had a good run last time out, but they did get caught up. Interestingly there, Jason Martin just came in for new tyres, and Jason Hartigan also came in for repairs. So they're going to jump onto the back of this train as we go back to green here at Martinsville. And we've got another caution. And Matthew Cluett there getting caught up. A real shame because he was running very well. He was up into 3rd place for a few moments in that one. Cluett's just gone around, just having a little look at that one. He's just got a bit high on the concrete, I think. And no, he's just braked a little bit earlier than expected. And Danny G's just caught him in the back and spun him around into the safer barrier.
Yeah, it looks like he might have braked and went down to get the apex sooner than Danny G was expecting.
Yeah, it's caught him out quite significantly there, unfortunately. And again, a guy that was doing well and, you know, was hoping for some decent results here. It's not over by a long shot, of course, because there's a long way to go still in this race. But he got caught out pretty early there, unfortunately, for Cluett.
I got one for you now, Carl. Are we going to be going time certain or lap certain tonight?
I'm going to go with time certain.
Yeah, it's going to be a long night for us up here in the commentating booth.
It is indeed. Unfortunately, look, it's one of those things at Martinsville. It's a very tough track, and those corners are incredibly unforgiving. You look at this and you go, oh, it can't be that hard, surely. Like, look, it's only a short track. It's only the small area. You know, it's not going to be that difficult to drive around in a circle on this place, is it? But it is. This track is incredibly tricky. And on the exit of the corner here, you can see it's got that extra bit of concrete on the outside, and that catches a lot of drivers out because you go to accelerate and you're on the concrete. Of course, concrete has less grip to it than asphalt. And the reason the concrete is there is because simply the cars were starting to rip the asphalt up. As I said, the reason they actually changed it to concrete on these corners was due to the, I think it was the 90s or 80s, I think, late 80s or early 90s. The cars, because they had so much horsepower to them, were starting to actually make ripples in the asphalt. Because they've got such heavy braking and such hard acceleration here, it was actually deforming the track. So they had to go concrete there so it didn't start ripping apart. The concrete ended up actually lasting for about 20 years before they actually had to resurface it, so it was a good move on their half. But the rest of the track is asphalt, so you've got this slippery concrete as you go through the corner and onto the actual straight. Then you get this nice grippy asphalt. But what happens is your front tyres are on nice grippy asphalt, your rear tyres are on concrete, and the car gets very unbalanced very quickly.
Yeah, that concrete is very unpredictable, and people make jokes about these cars being put under blankets and that when it does rain, but the amount of power they have at the rear wheels and the surface here that they race on, they have to be put away under the blankets. They're not meant for that type of racing out in the rain.
No, you don't want to go over racing in the rain. As we go back to green, a good start again for Skurlock. He's nailed that restart again, but Micklemore has managed to keep a little bit close to him this time. As we go around, and hopefully we'll get some good green laps this time round. Scott getting a good bit of a lead there again, as Foster makes a bit of a dive up to Danny G. A bit of a bomber move there. He manages just to hold it up in time though, almost gets into a wreck though, and it's so easy to do here. Is when you're braking here, it's so easy to just, if you miss your braking point by a quarter of a second, you're going to go into the back of somebody.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. It's just those few millimeters and you brake too late.
And James Roby's gone round. We've got another caution, unfortunately. It looks like James Roby and Raymond Yeager and Lachlan. Lachlan Rigo has got caught up in that one. Just having a look back at that to see what happened. Yeager's come down and he's just missed his braking point, gone into Lachlan and Raymond, and that's taken those two cars into some serious damage. And Lachlan unfortunately gets caught up because he's got a stationary Raymond Yeager in front of him, and that has brought out the caution flag for us on lap number 30.
Look like Lachlan got loose coming out of the corner. Just touched that outside wall and didn't have the speed down the back straight, and Yeager caught him too quickly, went to go under him and got both him and James Roby.
Yeah, just getting caught out, and that's what I said. It's so easy to do here. It doesn't take much to get caught out, and it's only a couple of millimeters, and then you're completely done for. Because the trouble is, if you brake a little bit too late, or if you miss your braking point, or as you get unsettled going into the corner here, the car does not want to stop. And these cars, their brakes they're still steel rim brakes. You know, they're not exactly Formula One ceramic brakes. They are heavy cars with very normalised brakes. Braking is not an easy thing to do in these beasts.
No, it's never an easy thing to do in any car, let alone something like this.
No, it's for all you road racers out there, it's a bit like going out on cold tyres. Going out on cold tyres on Monza and going into the first corner. It's very difficult, and it's very easy to lock a wheel or just shoot off into that chicane, because it is very tricky on those cold tyres. And you do have cold tyres and you've got cold brakes here. The trouble with a NASCAR's brake is it doesn't really heat up that much. It takes a lot of time to get the heat cycling working out. Plus, they don't have very big brakes to begin with.
Can't be that hard, can it, Carl? You just turn in one way. Going
Exactly.
in a circle.
You just need to tie an elastic band to the steering wheel. There's nothing more than that, really, is it? But yeah, it is a lot harder than it looks, and it is so easy to make a mistake here.
Yes, it's a lot harder than people give it credit for, I think, sometimes.
It is, and you know, a lot of road races do absolutely have that thing of oval races being like, well, you know, come on, it's not that hard, guys. Come on, it's pretty easy. And what I say to them is, give it a go in a competitive environment like this, in the ANZCAR Series. It's a lot harder than you think. These guys are very, very quick, and especially on an oval, is if you're even if you're a tenth slower, that can mean the difference between first and last place.
Yeah, it can. It's interesting, like such a small amount of time can mean that such a difference between so many cars.
Yeah, it is. It is so close.
So we head back to green here shortly.
And we're going to go back to green, and Skurlock gets a good start there, a little bit loose on the on the entry there, but he manages to keep it. And the car does get very squirrely on that when you do accelerate off that corner, of course. There are a few cars out here with some serious damage now as well. There's a lot of front noses missing.
Yeah, in that last crash there was a few taken off there. But we saw Edward Foster unfortunately getting held up on that outside line again, and that is not the place where you want to be here at Martinsville. It's very one way, so one lane I should say, sorry. Not one way, all tracks are one way on about.
You generally want to hope that the track's one way, unless it's a destruction derby, then it's a bit of a free-for-all.
Yeah. One moment, Carl, we'll say. But yeah, it's very much one lane here at Martinsville. Like our track that we went to last week was very much one lane as well.
Yeah, you can make it work a little bit, but you're not going to make it work lap after lap. You've got to make that move and make it actually stick. And that's the trouble here at Martinsville is you've got to let patience sink in, and sometimes people do get a little bit impatient. Just looking through the field though on cars that have got serious damage, we've got Hamish Gallagher doing a great job to get back up into 8th place, despite the nose of that car looking a little bit flat. He's managed to get back up there into 9th place, and Raymond Yeager as well in 10th. Another good drive from Raymond as Mirko Dortnak's gone round. Mirko Dortnak has gone round and caught out the MFR car of just having a look there, Matthew Cloyd, I think possibly. Yeah, big moment for Mirko Dortnak there. Absolutely huge crash there, and a lot of damage to Cloyd as well, because he's got some speed coming off the corner, and you can just see with that crash from Dortnak, he's just lost it ever so slightly going through the corner. Just a little bit of oversteer, and he's tried to correct it, and it's just not worked. Back end stepped out, front end's gone in, he's got a tank slapper, and in he goes.
It's easy enough to do a tank slapper here as we see the leader.
Yeah, Skulk is in, but nobody else. The rest of the cars have stayed out, so they're going to be banking on a caution again, and I mean, it's a pretty safe bet in all honesty. It's a big thing about Martinsville. If you can make it to the end of Martinsville without any damage to your car, you've not been trying hard enough. It's one of those tracks that does tend to chew up the car and cause a lot of damage. It's a bit like Monaco in that respect, where you're kind of expected to rub the barrier a few times and get very close and have moments, but it is on a knife edge constantly. It is a very hard track to get right.
Yep. Yeah, it's very much you either race to win or you may as well wreck it, right? That's how I look at it.
Yeah, it's such an easy thing to do here, and as we say, it's not an easy track to drive. Yeah. It's not forgiving. As we saw there with Mirko Dortnak, it just takes a moment of just a slight bit of oversteer, and that's it, you're out of the race. It was just a simple little mistake there, and that sent the car careening round and caused an accident, and it is not an easy track to drive on for sure.
Yeah, it's easy enough to do here as we're sitting behind the pace car, about to hit lap 45, so nearly a quarter of the way through, Carl.
Yeah, quarter of the way through with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cautions, so we're going well so far. Yeah, it's why I go a bit quiet after the caution flag comes out, because I'm jotting it down on my bit of paper. But Danny G's in second place. You can see he's got a lot of damage on the back of his car. So Josh Micklemore's going to pull it away, and Edward Foster's going to hope to get a better restart on the outside this time.
Mitch Motorsports 1-2 restart here. Let's see how they do it.
Great start from Josh Micklemore there. He really gets away well. And Edward Foster's managed to slide down, and Stephen Williams has gone round with Riley Curtis. A huge incident. A lot of cars caught up in that one.
That's the big one there at Martinsville. We don't normally have one, but there you go.
Yeah, that was a huge incident. Looks like Stephen Williams has just got into the corner. He just got a little tap from Riley Curtis, just braking a little bit later, and that's caused a ripple effect. A lot of cars got involved in that. Big one for Jason Martin. He got caught up quite hard in that one. Jason Hartigan just managed to miss it by the skin of his teeth. Michael Skurlock as well got caught up in that one too. He went into the back of Jason Martin and got some serious damage to the front of that car. And that's the risk of pitting as a leader, is you can get caught up in these crashes. Skurlock getting caught up as I think Lachlan went into the back of him very slightly too. A lot of cars caught up in that incident there.
Yeah, a lot of cars are caught up in that, unfortunately.
Well, I can say one thing: we're going to have a lot of highlights for next week's highlights package.
Yes, at least you won't be short.
Exactly, it's not going to be a short one. And Jason Hartigan has got the lucky dog, so that's going to help him out quite a lot. I wonder if he's going to come in for another quick stop before we go back to green flag racing, just to get a little bit of damage fixed up. Although I imagine most of the damage has already been fixed. He's still got a little bit of crumple on the front of that bodywork, but the mechanical damage, I think, is all fixed up for him. So hopefully he'll be okay. Jason Martin has made a bit of a mistake in his pits. He's coming to get this car fixed up, just on that corner, and I think he's overshot the pit stop. I'm just having a look at that one because it looks like he was just reversing there. Might have just been a trick of the eyes. No, it was just a trick of the eyes. But yeah, there's a lot of damage to Martin's car now. He has lost the whole front end of the car. As you can see from the front, you can see how much camber is on the wheels. The tyres on these cars are basically in the shape of a V.
Yeah, a lot of people put it on their cars to look good, but it does have actual reason to be on there.
Yeah, negative camber is very important on these ovals. It does help with turning. It just helps you with that steering. It helps you get through those corners correct. There's a couple of lap cars in front of Josh Micklemore there. Just went quiet there as I was trying to work out if it was negative or positive camber. Brain was just twitching for a second there. But Josh Micklemore's back up front with his teammate behind him. Edward Foster again is going to be starting up there in third now. He's managed to make up one place. Shea Thompson though has got up to fourth place. Another strong performance from Shea Thompson.
Yeah, really good job from Shea Thompson. We've seen a lot of good drives from him this year so far.
Yeah, look, he's been having a great season and really starting to put the car up there. Really nice look on that car as well. I do like the paint job as well. The Fastlane Esports team there with the yellow and black. It looks very smart on the Camry. We saw last week Shea getting caught up in the incident with Jaeger. As we go back to green flag racing, Josh Micklemore's going to drop it away. And he does. He gets a great restart there. Fantastic job on the restart. Micklemore is away like a whippet there, like a greased whippet. Just off he goes.
Yeah, he's been doing very well getting away with those restarts there.
And our former leader, Michael Skurlock, is now starting to climb up the ranks as we see Jason Martin coming into the pits. I wonder if he's picked up a penalty.
Yeah, must be some type of penalty there in those last sort of pit stops.
Yeah, he's got some company in there with Tristan Koch and somebody else. I couldn't see who that was. But yeah, a few people getting caught into there. So one of the other things, of course, here is it can be quite tricky getting into pit lane because you're coming off that concrete and you can easily lock a wheel up and sail in there and go a bit too fast. Speeding in the pit lane can be an easy thing to do here at Martinsville.
Yeah, and here at Martinsville, on like most of the tracks, they have an outside wall. So if you get that entry wrong, you can end up with that outside wall if you get it really, really wrong.
Yeah, we saw actually last time out, I don't think who it was now, I can't remember, I think it was Cluett. he got caught up and he went into the pit wall itself. You can easily go into the actual pit wall as you go into the pit lane, and that's a race over there instantly, because that's going to completely ruin your engine, your cooling system, and everything like that.
Yeah, some tracks have it, some tracks don't. Daytona's one of those that don't have it. Probably for driver safety, because there's been a lot of big wrecks that have run all the way down into pit lane and smacked that pit wall before.
Oh,
if it had
yes.
that extra wall there, it would not be very nice.
No, there's unfortunately been a fair few drivers that have lost their lives in incidents because of pit wall entries like that. It's an unfortunate risk in these oval races. They can be very, very dangerous in that respect.
Yeah. Mr. Edward Foster having a great drive out here with, again, Shay Thompson and Phil Otto and James Raby. Quiet little good drive for James out there tonight so far.
Doing well to come up there, and really another guy that's just creeping up there is Phil Otto. Another good drive for Phil Otto in the DPR car. Just a quiet drive. Phil's been having a good season so far. Not been making lots of hoo-ha, but has been climbing up positions, has been making some good top 10 spots, things like that. So, good job for him. Just looking down, everyone down to 11th place. 11th place is the last car that is on the lead lap. So from 12th onwards, or all the lap down, from 14th onwards is 2 laps down. And that's Jason Hartigan, Norman Clark, Jason Martin, Matthew Klutt's 4 laps down now. Tristan Koch is also 4 laps down. Nick Wilson at 11. And then we've got a couple of retirements in Riley Curtis, Miko Dortnack, and Jamie Dyke. But yeah, there are a few cars out there, as it looks like James Roby just gets a little bit off there. It looks like he just went a bit wide going through the corners. He was trying to make a move on Stephen Williams, I think. Just didn't work out well for him, which is just giving Hamish Gallagher a chance to get past that car and slowly try and make his way back onto the lead lap. Yeah,
it's always good to try a chance at getting a lap back here, or being able to get it back under green, as well as it's always important to try to be that lead car a lap down if you are in that position to try and win a lap back.
Exactly, Lucky Dog can be quite powerful here. It's very easy to go from a couple of laps down to going into the lead here at Martinsville. It's a strange thing, but at the moment in the lead we've got Josh Micklemore, who's absolutely just yanking it away. He's got some serious speed. Michael Skurlock is slowly catching him though. He's managed to work his way up into 5th place and is setting some reasonably good times. Not too much faster than the leaders at the moment, but he is passing people. He is in traffic. He's actually got a bit of a free spot now, as we see Stephen Williams getting a little bit wide there, I think, and a couple of other guys just getting a little bit looser on the exit. But now's the time for Skurlock to start climbing up and chase Shay Thompson down.
Yeah, I think Skurlock, if anyone can do it, Skurlock can do it.
Exactly, a lot of experience on. He's a very good road racer, Skurlock, and it's actually quite useful to have good road racing experience here on Martinsville, as we've got a pass going on with Matt Hunter. He's just got a bit wide there, and a lot of cars are going underneath him at the moment. But he's currently on the lead lap, and they're all a couple of laps down. So fresh tyres versus used tyres. And just before as we continue, actually, just a big shout out and hello to all the new watchers and subscribers. Thank you for joining us tonight. And look, we do apologise. Martinsville is one of those tracks that can cause a bit of caution, unfortunately. So it's one of those tracks where we expect to have a fair few cautions thrown out, sadly. But we're getting some good green flag running now.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't say anything, Carl.
Oh look, I've got to curse it. It's my job. It's what I get paid the big bucks for. But currently, Mitch Motorsport are doing very well in a 1-2 position, and Edward Foster's just sitting there in 3rd place. I know Ed Foster, he doesn't mind this track. He's actually quite handy here, and that stems from quite a lot of road racing experience as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're going round one by one at the moment. It's a bit like a muted version of Noah's Ark. They all come one by one at the moment. But there's not much you can do here at Martinsville. You've really just got to try and press that car in front of you to make a mistake or make a real wide push. Because there is so little grip on that outside of the corner. Although you've got the asphalt on the outside, you do get a lot of marbles on there.
Yeah, you do get a lot of marbles out there.
And that's where the abrasive surface of the concrete really starts to sort of show, is because it's so abrasive. You get a lot more tyre wear there, so you get a lot more marbles on the outside, and that causes the track to be more slippery than it would be. It's a bit of a ripple effect, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks that is very unique, like you were saying before.
Indeed, and Skerlock is starting to make a bit of pace up. He's currently setting times similar to the leaders. Sort of last time round we were looking at about a 2012, and Skerlock was a 2012 as well. So he's setting pace with Josh Micklemore and Danny G at the moment. There's not much between them though. Shea Thompson's on a 2013, so there's not much time between those guys. Very, very close times between them, but Skerlock is starting to catch a little bit.
Yeah, Skerlock is closing the gap there. You can see in the timing he's closed the gap up already quite well, and I believe that he'll continue to close that gap unless we get another caution or tyre fall if really kicks in.
Yeah, well, he has got the fresh tyres on, remember, so he has made that stop. He's the first guy in that top 10 that's made a stop. Interestingly enough, behind him in the DPR Benmax car of Stephen Williams, and Stephen Williams is the next guy on fresh tyres. Just behind him is his teammate on worn tyres, and they're setting relatively similar times, although Stephen Williams was a couple of tenths faster that time round. As we continue going around, and a bit of a moment for Hamish Gallagher there, just getting caught up on the curb on much fresher tyres. He's trying to fight his way back to become the first car that's on the lap down at the moment. He's currently chasing down Lachlan. There's not much between those guys, and that's where the racers are at the moment. They're trying to catch up to each other to try and get that lucky dog position if we do get a caution out.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about before, very important to be that first car in line if we get another caution, which, touch wood, let's hope we don't.
No, touch wood, we hopefully don't, but being Martinsville, there's a very high chance that we will. Lap 81, so we're actually chewing through the laps pretty quickly now. Lap 81 of 150, so we're not doing too badly right now. Again, I've said that, so no doubt we'll have about 12 cautions now. But everybody's...
Yeah.
Everybody started settling into their pace now, though. They've got that rhythm going.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that is very, very important here, just have that rhythm, as we were talking about in the practice before. A lot of the short tracks are rhythm-based.
They are, as Danny G starts making a look on his teammate now. Danny G actually catching on his teammate a bit. I think Micklemore may have made a mistake that last lap round. He lost a bit of time to his teammate, and Danny G is desperately trying to get past. He wants to get a win this season. He wants to get the W on the board for the Cup Series.
Yeah, it's always nice to get a win, and it's even better to win a championship. But that's a long way down the road yet, Carl.
It is. We've still got a long, long way to go until then. Danny G got a win in, I think, the Cup Series or the Thunder Series, one of those two. This season, he did get Sorry?
This is Cup. Has he got a win in Cup?
Win in the truck or the Xfinity Series. There we go. Brakes working again.
Sorry, I just had to. I was like, huh? We're in the Cup. Sorry, Carl.
That's all right. Cider and pain meds. They make a great combination. But anyway, yeah, he has got his 2020 season off to a start with a win now. So he's going to want to try and convert that into a cup win and get some of that sort of momentum behind him, because he does currently lead the championship, of course.
Yeah, and talking about truck series, we have a Monday night truck series starting back here up at ANZCAR this coming Monday. If any of our viewers have iRacing and have an interest in running oval, it's where all these guys started running trucks, and it's where we all have to start somewhere as we have a
And
safety car.
got a caution as Phil Otto has gone around. Big damage to the front of Phil's car.
Something car.
Yeah, just had to. But I think he's just gone around himself. Yep, he's just lost it going through the corner, through the back straight. And a few people have caught him as they've come around. Phil just put a bit too much power on that back straight, and that's really caught him out. And yeah, he's just looped it around himself. But this is going to be a reprieve for those guys at the front. They're going to be able to make their pit stop now, get some fresh tyres and fuel in their car.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those bittersweet moments for Skurlock. He was catching because he had the fresher tyres, but now he's going to be right on the back. But he's going to... Okay.
Speaking of people just making a bit of a risk there, Edward Foster's actually stayed out. So Skurlock stayed out as well. Skurlock may be able to actually make it to the end where he stopped. That's a thought for it, because Skurlock might be able to do it on where he stopped, but Foster's stayed out, so that's interesting.
What was your prediction on fuel and tyre life here tonight, Carl?
Well, I'm just going to go to my writing now. Tank will get you about 135 laps. So you'll be able to do about 135 laps on a full tank. So fuel isn't really going to be an issue, but you do need to pretty much stop. Tyres, they drop off around about lap 70. So the tyres are pretty much wrecked as it is, but they're not going to drop off any more, really. You may have a tyre blowout, but that's about the worst you can expect. But with the amount of cautions we have, could we see Foster making it on no stops at all?
It could happen. He might be hoping for a time certain race.
Yeah, he could be.
Too. But
yeah, I don't.
Asking for a lot as we all on come here for lap 92, and we're doing 150 laps here tonight. And we've got pretty much another hour of time here until it goes time certain.
Yeah, it's a lot to ask for. Maybe he's hoping for a couple more cautions. That's the only thing I can think of. Because yeah, staying out now is a big gamble, because he's basically, Micklemore and Danny G haven't really lost anything for their pit stop. They've dropped just behind Foster and Skurlock. Skurlock can make it to the end for sure, but can Foster? That's the big question now. Will we see Foster making it to the end? This could be an interesting one.
Yeah, it will be a interesting situation here.
So pace car's going to come in, and we're going to go back to green flag in a few moments. But before we do, well, we're going to go back to green flag on this lap. And Foster doesn't get a great restart there. He gets a little nudge from Micklemore as they go through the corner, but you can see those fresh tyres are so much faster than Foster as Skurlock gets through and past. But Foster's kind of sitting there a bit as a bit of a roadblock at the moment, a moving chicane. Shea Thompson just gets a bit loose on the corner there. Micklemore's desperately trying to find his way past though.
Yeah, Micklemore will want to get past as soon as possible so he can start getting away as we see these guys in the front going 2 by 2. They should sort themselves out here shortly as we'll see Skurlock going to knee. Josh sorry going to Skurlock there.
Yeah, well, it looked like Foster was actually going to defend his line there, and he comes down on Skurlock, on Micklemore, and Micklemore presses in and just forces his way through, and this is where Foster's going to lose some time. You're going to see those fresh tyres absolutely launching him up the field now. And you can see Foster's dropped all the way back. He's dropped behind Shea Thompson already. Just in front of Shea Thompson. But it won't be long before he gets past. And Skurlock's actually dropped out in there as well. So Skurlock's lost a few positions. Josh Micklemore's made up a few positions quite well. Just Skurlock getting caught out there just behind Foster just really cost him a lot of time.
Yeah, it cost him a whole heap of time there. Don't know if it was the right call, but it was a call they made, so we'll see how it goes from here on in.
Yep, well, we'll see if it was the right call at the end of the race. If they end up winning it, then it was the right call, but we won't know until the end of the race whether that call was worth it or not. But it is interesting to see Foster just staying out there. He's trying something different. He's really making a roll of the dice right now, and he's not losing too much time. He's definitely not as fast as Danny G and Micklemore. He's definitely losing pace as we get a couple of cars going 3 wide down the back straight with Stephen Williams, I think, and Hamish Gallagher involved in that one. Bit of a brave move going 3 wide here at Martinsville for even a couple of seconds, but they're just flying away at the moment. The 2 Midget Motorsport cars of Danny G and Josh Micklemore in the lead are really pulling away, but Foster's sat there quite well in 3rd place at the moment. The big thing for Foster is he's got worn tyres, of course, but he's got a lighter car because he has less fuel on board. And Shea Thompson has managed to get past, so Shea Thompson on those fresher tyres is climbing up there as well. So yeah, it's going to be a hard call to make, but if we get into caution a little bit later on, if Foster comes in, he's going to lose a few positions for sure, but he'll be on much fresher tyres. It could work out towards the end of the race for him.
Yeah, he might be going for that late race rush for the field or gain instead. But if we get another caution, that strategy may not pay off for him here, unfortunately, because everyone are probably going to try to cover him with tyres.
Yeah, it's a bit of a risk, isn't it, really? It's a sort of just a very strange, risky move, but sometimes these things pay off. It's a roll of the dice, and gambles are just that. They either pay off or they don't. As Danny G just makes a bit of contact with the wall as he comes through turns 1 and 2. Just a slight touch of the wall as we see James Roby now behind Foster. Shea Thompson just getting a good runaway here and just flying away from that group. Skurlock's dropped off quite a lot. He's down in 7th now. So again, his tyres obviously quite a lot older than the guys around him. Ooh, as Stephen Williams gets into the side of one of the other cars there. Bit hard to see who it was. I think it might have been Hamish Gallagher or another car that is black. Trying to work out who it was. The trouble is too many black cars now. But a little bit of contact between those two. What I was going to say, just in that caution though, was, as you said, trucks are back and they're going to be racing in Kentucky this week. So I've got next week. So next week we'll be at Kentucky. So at the same time as the Cup race. So it will start at 7:30 Adelaide time, or whatever the time zone it is for you. Practice will start at 6:30, and that will be 100 laps at Kentucky on the 11th of May. So if you are looking to get into oval racing in Australia and New Zealand, and you want to give it a try, come and join us in the trucks. It's a great way of starting out, and it's a good way of getting this sort of start in this sort of sport.
Yeah, and then the following week we got a really special track that was the first appearance in the ANZCAR Truck Series, which is Eldora.
Yes, a very different track. Tell us about Eldora.
Well, it's a dirt-based track that's obviously made for things like sprint cars, but they adapted it to somehow it's become the special round for trucks every year.
Yeah, it's a very different style of race, and it's definitely going to be a challenge for everybody as well. It's a very different style of racing at Eldora.
Yeah, I like to do a bit of dirt oval racing here and there, but driving one of those things on the dirt is a whole heap different machine again.
Yeah, it's the trucks have got quite a bit of power in them. They've got a lot of power in them, and also they've got a very light rear end, of course, because they are trucks. Even though these cars are pretty much, they're pretty much a rolling chassis. That little bit less weight over the rear axle does tend to notice a bit, and the car is a little bit more. It's a little bit more loose at the rear than the Cup and Xfinity cars.
Yeah, I personally prefer the driving style of the Xfinity compared to the trucks, but most guys prefer the truck over the Xfinity.
Yes, but then again, a lot of people like pineapple on pizzas, so not everybody's right.
Okay, Carl, just going straight down.
I'll go to the jugular there. But yeah, it is one of those things. It's a very different beast to drive, but the good thing about trucks is it's a very good car to learn in, because you get to learn how to drive a car with a very slippery rear end, and if you can master one of the trucks, you're going to have a better time in the Xfinity, and then especially the Cup, where you have some downforce in there, and the car is just it's a much easier car to drive.
Yeah, so are you a pineapple on pizza guy or not?
I'm a not mind, actually. Interesting pizza topping is blueberry. That works very well. But that is a strange recipe.
We got Mr. Koch here, just saving that before he took the leaders out, but
You just managed to get back in there before getting caught up with the leaders there. Koch almost getting a big crash there. Bit of a brown trouser moment for Josh Micklemore, I imagine.
talking about your choice of topping, what would you even put blueberries with though, Carl?
A good cheese, Gouda. It works very well with Gouda on a pizza because it's quite a sweet cheese, and the blueberry adds a little bit of a tartness. It's a very nice little thing. Of course, ANZCAR
come from?
Sorry?
Where does Gouda originally come from, the cheese?
It's Italian, I think. Off the top of my head, it's Italian or Swiss or French. It's in the Alpine region anyway. It's in the general vicinity of that southern area. But yeah, it's an interesting topping. You can even add a little bit of feta for a little bit of saltiness with them, and it works very, very well.
I'm very much a salt man.
ANZCAR, home for all of your oval racing and strange pizza topping needs, apparently.
Yeah, look.
And Jason Hartigan at the moment is starting to charge through the field. He's managed to get himself into that lucky dog position. He is 2 laps down though, so he's got to work his way up there, get past the leaders. And if he can get past the leaders, which he might do, he's just passing Tristan Koch at the moment. So next up is Shea Thompson. But if Jason Hartigan can get past these guys, it's going to put him only a lap down. So if we do get a caution, he's going to be able to get the lucky dog and get back on the lead lap.
I had to paint your car next week in a pizza delivery scheme, hey Carl?
That'll take me back to the old days. And Josh Micklemore is starting to come up to the traffic now as we come through. Phil Otto in front of him. So this is going to be the hard part for Micklemore now. He's going to start losing time as he gets caught up with the traffic now. And this is where it can get very dangerous as well. Just sliding your way through traffic. Micklemore's got a lot more pace than these guys in front of him, than Phil Otto and people like that, because his car is much less damaged, and Phil Otto is just going to sit up at the top of the line. Nicely done by Phil there, just keeping it out the way of everybody. But these guys are also racing each other in some circumstances, and that's going to start causing some moments for them.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see how he makes his way through this lap traffic as we hit 1:25. 25
Yeah.
Carl.
Not that much further to go. As we see, Riley Curtis coming into the pits. Looks like he's got some bit of damage on that car. Not sure I think he's just coming in for a general stop, though. But it'll be interesting to see what Foster does. Will he be able to make it to the end without a change of... Will he be able to make it to the end, even? He's currently in front of Skurlock at the moment. So he is sitting in front of somebody. He's made up 6 positions, so it's not going too badly for him. Stephen Williams is making quite a bit of pace on him, just charging away, the same as James Roby. Shea Thompson is sitting up there well, too, with Jason Hartigan now sort of starting to catch those guys. It looks like Riley Curtis has got some major issues at the moment. He's just coming back out of the pits and seemed to like stall it in the pit lane. So I'm not sure what's going on there for Riley. But Josh Micklemore at the moment is just charging away with it all.
Yeah, Josh is having a good race out there tonight. As I said earlier on, he's had a lot of there or thereabouts races this year, so I thought, touch wood, hopefully it's his time.
Yeah, he's had a relatively good season, which is quite normal for Josh McMoy. He is a very quick driver, but he has had some misfortunate moments. He's already got a win so far this season, and he is sitting in 4th place in the championship, of course, just ahead of his teammate Jason Martin, who was looking so good earlier on before all of the things in the world went wrong for him. So he's looking pretty good at the moment. But he has got his teammate Danny G behind him, and Danny G is where he's sitting at the moment, is going to keep him in the lead for the championship still, I think. Just off my quick top of my head mathematics. So it's looking good for the two of them at the moment, in all honesty. But I am sure Danny G is quite hungry for that win as well. It's been a while since we've seen Danny G on the top step of the podium for the Cup Series.
Yeah, it's been quite a while, but at the end of the day, these guys are teammates, so will they want to risk racing each other?
Well, that is a big question. Do you want to risk it because you're in such good position right now, with a 1-2? Is it worth risking it and possibly losing it and getting a non-finish, It's hard to do as a driver because obviously drivers want to push it to their max. As we've got a good battle between Edward Foster and Skurlock now, as Skurlock tries to get past, doesn't quite manage it this time round, and Foster just manages to position his car in the right spot to keep Skurlock behind him. And the caution has come out. And just Matt Hunter has gone around. Unfortunately for Hunter, he's gone around and. Just looking back at that, it looks like he's just looped it on the concrete. He's just gone around and put a little bit too much throttle on the car in the exit, and that's just looped the rear around, and into the barrier he goes. So this is going to work out perfectly for... Ooh, will it actually? It's going to be good for Edward Foster. Jason Hartigan's going to get the wave around as well, so Jason Hartigan is going to get a lap back. But he's still going to be 1 lap down, I think. So everybody's coming into the pit lane now.
Yeah, there is a question mark over that, actually, Carl, because I think at the time the caution was waved, Hunter was the leading car that was a lap down, and because of that, the lucky dog automatically gets cancelled out.
Yeah, I was just wondering about that.
So if the car that caused the caution was the lead car, a lap down, the lucky dog automatically gets cancelled out.
Yeah, we'll have to see on that one. So I think we're gonna.
It's just that Jason has stayed out and didn't pit.
Yeah, he's in the pits now, so we'll see if he manages to get at least 1 lap back, which will be nice for him. I'm sure he'll be pretty happy with that if he can do it. But at the moment, Shea Thompson actually stayed out, so...
Yeah, we've seen that big call from him before, and we've seen it pay off before too for Shea Thompson, with that big call to stay out in the last...
Oh no, wait, sorry, Shea Thompson actually did pit, but didn't take tyres, I don't think. Just looking back, just took right tyres, Yeah, only took the right side of tyres, so only took 2 sets of tyres that time round, and that's jumped Shay Thompson up into the lead.
Interesting.
So the inside tyres are... Oh, and we've got something happening to Skurlock. It looks like we might have had a disconnect to Skurlock. He slowed right down, dropped off the pace, and he's getting back on it now.
He might be waiting. Jason is waiting too. Maybe there's a car that they had to sort out a position with or something.
Yeah, maybe just some iRacing
Fun.
shenanigans going on there, unfortunately. Because, as you say, yeah, Jason Hartigan also had to slow down, and looks like they had to just let Matt Hunter get through for that one. But we're going to be going back to green very shortly. The pace car comes in. Shay Thompson's going to be leading the way for this one. Josh Micklemore's on the outside. We have got 20 laps to go here at Martinsville.
Ooh, great start from both of the Mitch Motorsport cars, but it's cost Josh a lot of time there because Benny G pushed 3 wide into that first corner and pushed him high. As now,
Oh, and we've got to turn around behind them. There's a big incident behind them. Raymond Yeager in that, as well as many, many other cars. Just going back to look at that, it looks like Yeager's gone into the number 7, into Lindsay Hobbs. Just having a look at that one now. Yeah, Yeager's lost the rear end and just tapped the back end of Lindsay Hobbs there, and that has caused the caution to come out.
yeah, that might have helped save Josh there a little bit. He was getting swallowed up going back through the field, unfortunately.
Yeah, he had a terrible bit of a shocking restart there.
Yeah,
Guy that had a great restart though, well, James Roby and Danny G. James Roby's had a fantastic restart, getting up there to 2nd place.
yeah, Denny G pushed the issue going through 1 and 2, and that's what pushed his teammate wide there, unfortunately, and sent him up on the high line, and he got swallowed up through the field pretty well.
It just shows how quick it can happen. It doesn't take long for you to start losing positions here at Martinsville. It's very quick indeed. It looks like Skurlock's getting a wave around. So that's going to help him get back onto the lead lap. So that's good news for Skurlock.
Last caution question mark, Carl?
Sorry?
Last caution question mark, Carl?
I'm not going to say anything because I'll get in trouble.
Don't think you'll get in trouble for too much now.
I'll leave it as it is, but it's looking like it's going to be an interesting restart though. We're going to have Danny G on the bottom with James Robbie on the top, Shay Thompson behind Danny G, and then Stephen Williams has worked his way up there for his first outing in DPR, up into 4th position at the moment, with Edward Foster just behind him and Josh Micklemore just sitting back there behind himself. Skurlock is back in that leading pack as well, sitting in 9th place at the moment, but he's got a lot of cars to get past. There are a few lapped cars between himself and the leaders, so it's going to be a little bit tricky for that one as they start to sort of jostle for positions, start sitting in positions as we've got 5 laps to go. Okay, so we should be on lap 145, hopefully, on everything. And as usual, some fun stuff with our broadcasting. So we are coming round, pace car lights are out. And we'll be going for the restart very shortly.
Very shortly, Carl, very shortly. As they will get bunched up, here, ready to go.
And,
not many cars out there that don't have damage on them. If
No,
any.
but a lot of damage. James Robbie does come down quite quickly to block off Shea Thompson. Shea Thompson
Ooh.
just tapping Stephen Williams there as they go into the corner. That's unsettled Williams. But they've managed to hold it. Oh, and Foster's got turned around. Foster's just got turned around by Williams, I think it was.
And then Josh and Hamish got on the front straight trying to avoid that. Hamish come up, lost it coming out of the corner and come up into Josh there.
Big shame there. That's gonna really, that's not good for those guys. A real shame for Micklemore as well. That's costly for him. Hamish Gallagher as well, getting more damage on that car as well. There's not much left of Taylor Swift's face anymore. She had a full facial reconstruction with mainly concrete, which is not what you want to have happen.
I think Josh has been lucky there to get away with possibly a scraped paint job. Maybe a little more, but all I can see is maybe a scraped paint job happening there. A few scratches on the paint. Because he was mainly just helping push him around there.
Yeah, he has got lucky indeed, and there's not too much damage there. We're going to get a green-white checker for this one. So we're going to be going for a green-white checker on this race finish. But the guy that's worked out best for is Danny G.
Yeah. Danny G has worked out very well for him. Fortunately, not as well for his teammate tonight, but...
No, it seems to be the way of Mitch Motorsport at the moment, is their teammates either get... One of their teammates will have a good night, and then the other ones will have all the bad luck happen to them.
Seems to be like that on many teams, I think. There's always one driver that exceeds the rest during a single race.
Yeah, indeed. So we'll be going for the green-white checker this time around. If you could explain that for us, Jono.
So you get the green flag to restart everything. And do that lap. They come around and grab the white flag presented by Hybrid Racing Simulation. And then we go around that lap. And at the end of that lap, we get the checkered flag in the result, unless we get a crash before the white flag is waved. As long as the white flag is waved, anything goes.
Yes, so pace car lights will be going out this lap, I think. So we'll see how this goes. So we're going to have a green white checker, as we say, presented by Hybrid Racing Simulations, one of our many sponsors, and we thank them all. We appreciate all their hard work. Also, trackcams22.com for all the beautiful camera angles we've got, and a big shout out as well to Matt Hunter and iLiveries as well for their work earlier on in the season. Pace car is coming in though. We're going to go green and we're coming to the end of the race. So Danny G leads away. Will he be able to do it? James Robbie's looking pretty racy at the moment. Green flag is go. Danny G gets a good restart there. Shea Thompson gets a little bit of wheel spin. Does lose a bit of time. James Robbie has slotted into second. But this is going to be leading for Josh Micklemore to try and get a good run. He's trying to get a good run. He's not quite making it. Danny G's getting a very good drive out of the corner. It's looking good for Danny G at the moment. Josh Micklemore gets a little bit of a tap from Shea Thompson. The car's looking a little bit unsettled as they come through the concrete corner once more. As we come across the line for the white flag. And we will be coming around for this lap to be the finish. And it's looking good for Danny G at the moment. He's sitting out there ahead of James Roby. Doesn't look like there's anything to do for James Robbie. He's looking like he's going to have to settle for second place as Danny G crosses the line. James Robbie behind him with Josh Micklemore sitting in third.
Mitch Motorsports has to be happy about that result there tonight.
I'm sure they will be pretty happy about that one. Of course, I'm sure they would have much rather had all three cars up there, with Jason Martin having a bit of an unfortunate one, but Danny G must be ecstatic about this one. His first win in the Cup Series for 2020.
Yeah, no, absolutely amazing drive by James Roby from 22nd up to second.
Yeah, definitely. James Robbie has had a fantastic drive, and as you can see, the car's got very little damage on there as well. A good outing for Pace Syndicate Racing as well. Um, so great for them to get that one. I believe it's actually Danny G's first Cup Series win as well, his first actual Cup Series win. So fantastic job for Danny G and Mitch Motorsport. Another great drive as well for Shea Thompson, up in fourth place in the end. Great job for Shea. Really been showing some fantastic performance this season for these last couple of races for Fastline Esports.
Yeah, he has been showing some great racing out there, and he's been doing really well.
Yeah, fantastic job, and yeah, sure going to be happy about that. So let's just go over the results quickly before we grab Danny G up. So in first place, of course, Danny G for Mitch Motorsport. Second, James Roby. Third, Josh Micklemore with Shea Thompson in fourth. Fifth place was Hamish Gallagher. Great recovery for Gallagher there. A lot of damage on that car in the end. Michael Skurlock ended up sixth. Unfortunate race for Skurlock. Edward Foster in seventh. He did make up positions from his starting position, starting in 12th, finishing in seventh. So not a terrible race for Foster, but I'm sure he would have wanted better. In eighth place, we have Jason Hartigan. At ninth, Norman Clark. Norman Clark, fantastic recovery. Norman Clark was actually a couple of laps down at the start of the race and has managed to work his way back up into ninth. Rounding out the top 10 is Matt Hunter. Congratulations to Matt Hunter. Another top 10 finish in the Cup Series. Really good result for Matt Hunter. His first time in Cup Series this season, of course. He used to be our camera operator for the Cup stream. 11th place, Raymond Yeager with 12th, Matthew Cloyd. 13th is Lachlan with Tristan in 14th. 15th is Stephen Williams with Jason Martin in 16th. 17th is Phil Otto with Lindsay Hobbs in 18th. 19th is Mick Wilson with Riley Curtis in 20th. 21st is Mirko Dornack with Jamie Dyke in 22nd. So one heck of a race there, and as I'm sure Mitch Motorsport are going to be pretty happy about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab down our race winner, Mr. Danny G. Danny G, Carl Withy here for the ANZCAR Abruzzi Cup here on JP Simshed Broadcasting. How are you going?
I'm ecstatic. Oh, unbelievable. Can't believe that. First cup win. Great.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you're going to be happy about that. For you had your first win of 2020, was it last week?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I think, in the trucks.
Yeah, so it's all coming well good for you now. First win of 2020, and now your first win in the Cups. And this is your first win in the actual Cup Series, isn't it?
Yeah, my favourite track. Can't believe it.
It all seemed to fall in place for you tonight.
It sort of did that towards the end. I mean, I could stick with Josh, and I was pretty happy with my speed. I thought I was actually quicker than him for a little bit. He'd pull away, and I'd sort of get to him again. But on that last restart, when Shea was in first, I really didn't mean to get into the back of him going into one off the restart. But sort of when I did, I wasn't upset that I did because, yeah, it moved him up, and I got underneath. And I was pretty nervous for the rest of the restarts after that, but I knew I had a good shot to win that.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like you guys had some decent pace out this time. The Mitch Motorsport boys were, well, as usual, you were pretty much all up at the front row. It didn't go too well for Jason Martin, obviously, but it's a 1-3 for you guys. But being in the leading spot, I imagine you're pretty happy to be the top of the Mitch Motorsport boys tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been running with them for a while, always sort of in the second or third behind them. But yeah, to get one up this time, it feels good.
Yeah, and this is going to help cement your lead in the championship as well, because you came into this race leading the championship, of course, and with a win in there as well now, that's going to help you eke ahead even further.
Yeah, well, I wasn't thinking about that, but yeah, you're right. That should be good.
Yeah, I didn't know if you knew that one. Yeah, you were ahead on points by 4 points when you came into the race over Skurlock. Been a very consistent year for you, though.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, I knew I was in front of Skurlock by 4. So I was just hoping for a top 5 tonight to sort of get through it clean, because you know how these races can be. And luckily, I pretty much stayed top 3, I think, all night.
Yeah, it seemed to just fall into place for you. There was a little bit of damage on the car. I think in the first lap, I thought first lap or second lap it was, you got somebody going into the rear of you, I think. Did that damage cause much to you, or did you not notice it too much?
I don't know if anyone got into the rear of me. I know me and Chloe got together. That when I pitted, I had 16 seconds of damage, so that was probably from that. But I did clip the wall a few times. I was struggling with that ball practice.
Yeah, it didn't look too grippy out there tonight. Martinsville is one of those tracks that is very tricky, of course. That concrete turn does catch a lot of people out, and it caught a lot of people out tonight with 12 cautions. But it's not the easiest track to drive on, and as you said, it's not your favourite track. But I imagine you're going to look at it a little bit differently now that you've got your win on there.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Lovely. So before I let you go, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, just the Mitch Motorsport boys and Bob King for the paint job. It was exciting to put that in victory lane. I love this paint job, and yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, it's handy for us. It's a nice, easy car to spot. The bright orange car, it makes it a lot easier for me, which I'm always thankful for. So yeah, thank you ever so much. Congratulations on that win, and I'm sure we'll see you up in the booth sometime later in the season.
Sure you will. Too easy, fellas. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Danny. See you again. Danny G there for Mitch Motorsport. So next up, just having a little look through. We don't. There we are. We have got James Robbie. So we've got to have James Robbie down. We'll try to. James Robbie, Carl Withy here for the Abruzzi ANZCAR Cup here on JP Simshed. How are you going? Congratulations on that second place.
Yeah, cheers, thank you. I'm a little bit buggered, to be honest. I've had a big night, so it's a big night of racing, and that sort of caps it off. I'm pretty stoked to be up here, to be honest.
I can imagine. Look, you made up 20 positions in that race. Not a bad thing to do at all. It didn't look that easy out there for you, though.
Pretty chaotic, but you expect that on a short track. It was good fun. The whole mantra of trying to stay clean definitely helped me tonight. Got caught up sort of, I don't even know if it was halfway or early on in the race there, and got turned around and managed to stay on the lead lap, which I think made a big difference. But it's a very tight track to pass on, so it's about hitting your marks every time. And if you can do that, you can normally hold your position all right.
Yeah, it is a track that can really catch you out, as we were saying before to Danny G. It just those little bit of concrete, the concrete corners are a lot less grip on there than you expect, and it is very easy to go wide. And as you said, you did get caught up in a couple of incidents there. You really had a good comeback though. This season, you've had a few okay races this season, but it hasn't all fallen your way. You are in the top 10 in the championship, and this will help you in that respect, though. So it's not been going too badly for you. Obviously, looking for some better finishes in the future, though. How do you feel like your chances are?
Yeah, I think it's just been more consistent. I had a bit of a bum run at Dover last week. Started down the back and felt like I was driving through the field all right, and just got caught up in someone else's incident. You know, like nothing that I could have helped or avoided or anything like that, and just wrong place, wrong time. So if I can string a few consistent results together and a few more top fives, top tens, rather than down the back, then the goal was to be top 10 at the end of the season, and at the moment the goal looks like it's starting to move to a top 5. So it's going all right as long as I can keep it on the track.
Yeah, well, you're definitely doing that. You're in that top 10 now, and you've sort of cemented yourself in there. Obviously, Martinsville tends to be a drop round for a lot of people, but with a good result like this tonight, that's going to surely help your season along. So hopefully, you'll get inside the top 10 for the chase at the end of the championship.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's always the end goal. If you can get to the chase, then you've done well through the season. And once you're in the chase, everything starts again. So there's no point being first in the chase and first to get in the chase and last and first to fall out. So yeah, obviously top 10 and lock it in that chase and try again.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll see you up in the booth a couple more times this season. Things seem to be going a bit better for you, and we did notice as well. You got a new teammate out there in Stephen Williams tonight.
Skurlock, Michael Skurlock.
Oh, sorry, Scarlett. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Wrong car I was looking at.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool to have Mike in the team and to have someone else to run with. It's been pretty lonely, to be honest, being the only pace car. So, and to bring someone in with Michael's experience and consistency and that sort of thing, it sort of drives me a little bit harder to keep my results up there as well. So big welcome to him on the team.
Yeah, well, you done it tonight. You managed to finish ahead of him tonight, but obviously that experience in the team is going to be a great help, I'm sure. Obviously, Pace Syndicate, you're more focused on the road racing aspect, aren't you guys?
Yeah, we've got a pretty strong road team, and there's a core group of about 5 guys that run dirt a lot as well. So I sort of specialise more in the dirt side of it and enjoy the road ANZCAR Series as a bit of light relief from the dirt. So yeah, it's pretty awesome to have Mike in there and be running with them instead of against.
Absolutely. Look, it's going to be a great help for you. And of course, with the truck starting up again this month, we'll be going to Eldora on the 18th. So with the trucks, I imagine you're looking forward to that one if you're able to race in it.
Yeah, well, I'm actually chasing another couple of championships in the dirt side of things on Monday night. So I've got to pick my battles at this stage, and I don't know if I'll make it to the trucks, but it's certainly a bit of motivation.
Well, look, best of luck with your season. Hopefully we'll see you up again here for the Cup Championships. It's good to see you in the top 3. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out for tonight?
Yeah, thank you. Just thanks to you guys for putting on broadcast as always. All the admin team behind ANZCAR for putting it on each week. It's getting better and better. Big thanks to all the guys at Pace Syndicate and guys running there, and obviously as well for Michael coming on board. So
No worries. Thank you so much, James. And I hope we'll see you in the booth sometime later this season.
fingers crossed. Thank you.
James over there, Pace Syndicate Racing. Good job for him. So next up, we will grab down Josh Micklemore. Josh Micklemore, car with you here for the Abruzzi ANZCAR Cup on Simshed Broadcasting. How are you going?
Not too bad, mate.
Yeah, obviously, I imagine not the finish you exactly wanted, but top 3 for you, and you managed to get 2 of your team cars in that top 3 as well. So 1-3 for you guys. It was looking very good out there for you, and then things just dropped off a little bit towards the end.
Yeah, I had a really fast car tonight. Just got caught up top. There's just nothing up the top around here, and it's hard starting off the second off the top, like second or fourth, you know. And if you get held up there and you can't get down, you got to go backwards. Unfortunately, the car that was on pole moved up the track a bit, and so that moved me up the track a bit, and then everyone else went up the inside and had to work my way back up in 6 laps. But yeah, it sucks. But at the same time, you know, we've still finished third, been better than we have been running for the last 5 weeks, and Dan got the win, so pretty happy for him. It was his first win in the Cup.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's all 3 of you guys now have got wins in the Cup now this season, which is an impressive thing to do for the team. Obviously, we've always said Mitch Motorsport is a bit of a super team together. Now Danny G managing to get the monkey off his back for that first win, that's surely going to help out the team and going to help drive you guys forwards even further.
Yeah, we've still got a bit of bad luck on our side. Jason's still having some bad races. Just luck's not on our side. And like I said, I've had a bit of a rough run as of late. But Daniel seems to be doing really good on the other hand. And, you know, he's gone from, you know, started last year when I got him. In my opinion, he was like a mid-pack driver to now he's, you know, in my opinion, he's a top 5 in the league, and he's, you know, challenging for wins every week really. So he stepped it up. So that's good on him.
Yeah, look, we've definitely seen that from Danny G. He's improved a lot with you guys around him, and obviously having such talented teammates beside him is going to help rub off on him a little bit. And he does have some very talented teammates with yourself and Martin. Obviously, Jason Martin needs to stop kicking those black cats to get some luck in his life. But it's going well for you guys so far. I think this race will actually put you up into the top 3 for yourself. So you guys will be 1-3 in the championship currently. And honestly, that's not a bad place to be for you guys. For your team, you're really dominating quite a lot. All 3 of the drivers are in the top 10. It's definitely not a bad place to be.
Yeah, true. But yeah, it all sort of resets and that for the last 10 or 12 rounds for the chase. So long as we're up in that area before the last 12 rounds, and then we can, really got to get all this bad luck out of the way now, and then hopefully get it in the last 12, get some good luck on our side, and hopefully one of us can take the championship.
Well, it will be well deserved if you guys can get the championship this season. I mean, you formed last season with Mitch Motorsport, of course, and from a brand new team to a team that's really challenging for the championship this year. Not a huge surprise with yourself and Jason Martin in the team, but you guys have really been showing up for some great stuff tonight. So congratulations again on that one, and congratulations on that third place. Before I let you go, though, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, you guys for setting out your time for broadcasting and commentating the event for us, and JP Simshed and JP, thank you, mate. It's a big step up the last couple of years, so it's been great to watch. Yeah, the other boys, Jason Daniel, Mitch Motorsports, BK Designs, Nexus Esports, and I think that was about it. So yeah.
You got to have your whiteboard of all the different sponsor names written up in front of you, haven't you, half the time, just to remember them all.
Yeah.
All right, lovely. Thank you so much, Josh. Well, I'm sure we'll see you up in the booth sometime soon. Good luck for the rest of the season, and we'll catch you again soon, mate.
No worries. Thanks for the chat, fellas.
Josh Micklemore there for Mitch Motorsport, of course. So yeah, look, pretty dominant race from Mitch Motorsport again. Look, a 1-3 finish for them. Great job for James Roby as well, and another good finish for Shay Thompson up in P4. Good strong finish there. Again, one of those drivers that is up and coming and really starting to show off some serious pace. So things are looking good for the rest of the season, Johnny.
Yeah, it's really looking good for a few drivers starting to shape up now. And while we may not be even halfway through our series, as you like to see your championship starting to shape up early on.
Yeah, definitely. Look, it's better to be in the lead of the championship than last in the championship. It's easier to get into the chase when you're in the top 10 than it is when you're sort of lurking down in the top, sort of in the 20th position onwards. Well, that's about it for tonight. So, from myself, Carl from Jonathan Hancock, of course, and from JP of JP Simshed, we wish you a fantastic night. We will see you all again next week for the Cup Series. As I said, remember, trucks are on Monday, and we also have the Jinx Series, the V8 Jinx Series on as well, and that will be coming from, hopefully get told, Tuesday from 8 o'clock, and that will of course be on at Lime Rock Park. So we'll have that on Tuesday. So of course subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much to all the new subscribers and all the new viewers. We always love to see you guys, and thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again for some more Australian racing. This is me, Carl, out. Have a good night. Bye bye.